Welcome to my official 2024 NFL Future Bets. If you don't know who I am, I'm Matt King. We went up over 130 units betting the NFL last year. And I plan to do the exact same thing. Before we get started, if you guys could hit the like and subscribe button, I would truly appreciate it. It takes you 2 seconds, just hit it below. And let's get into it. I have 7 future bets for the NFL this season that I am super confident in. 5 of these bets are over/under win totals for these teams. One of these bets is a playoff bet, and then the third bet is actually a special bet for who I think is going to win the NFL MVP. So let's get into it. My first bet is going to be the Eagles over 10.5 wins at -148. Honestly, I think this number should be at 11.5. I actually expect the Eagles to win around 12 to 13 games. This team last year was 10-1 last year with no coaching at all. They had Brian Johnson, who was one of the worst offensive coordinators in football. He had no idea how to utilize Jalen Hurts, and they basically didn't have a defensive coordinator all season. They had to change to Matt Patricia, and that was a disaster. And everybody's going to say, what about Nick Sirianni? He didn't get fired. He's the entire problem. I kind of disagree with that. I think Nick Sirianni was part of the problem last year, but he admitted his faults. And I like a coach who admits when he's wrong, and he had to go to the team and apologize for everything that happened last year. And then he made great hires for the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator. Let's start on the offensive side of the football. I love Kellen Moore with this Eagles team. Now, I know a lot of Cowboys fans, maybe even some Charger fans might say, Kellen Moore is horrific. I kind of disagree with you in the sense that I like Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts working together. Kellen Moore had the 5th most pre-snap motion in the NFL. Back in 2022, when Jalen Hurts was an MVP candidate, they made the Super Bowl. They had one of the highest percentages in pre-snap motion. And they're going to bring that back to this offense. What helps Jalen Hurts in this pre-snap motion is being able to read defenses easier. It helps him determine if it's a man coverage, if it's a zone coverage. It also helps him in the running game as well. When you have people moving in pre-snap motion and you have them moving in different directions and where the ball is going, it really manipulates the defense. And not only that, this offense is talented. I would assume that they're going to be a top 3 offense in this league with Jalen Hurts. You had Saquon Barkley. I still think their offensive line is just fine. They also have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Another thing that Kellen Moore does is he gets the ball out of his quarterback's hands quickly. He has a 2.3 second rule. And this rule means that wide receiver routes need to develop in 2.3 seconds or less. And this helps Jalen Hurts even more. It will be able to get the ball out of his hands quickly. He'll be able to make simpler reads. And it also will get him rolling early in games. And then the defensive side of the football, they added Vic Fangio. They also added a lot of pieces to that defensive side. They got some corners, they got some linebackers, they got guys who actually want to tackle, and Vic Fangio is all about the old school kind of football on defense where you tackle, and that was the entire problem with the Eagles defense last year. So with the combination of all the talent that they have on the offensive side of the football and the defensive side of the football, I see no reason why the Eagles don't have the best record in the NFL. I like them at 13 or 14 wins this year, and that's my first bet of the NFL season. My second bet is the New York Jets over 9.5 wins at -162. Now, I know what you're saying, Matt, why are you betting the Jets? You know they're a disaster. While everybody is selling stock on the Jets, I'm going to buy even more because I think this Jets team is way better than they were last year. And people are just ignoring it because it's the Jets. But this same team last year probably had the best defense in football, and they brought almost everybody back. I expect Hassan Reddick to play, so I'd argue they're even better. And they won 7 games last year with Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, Trevor Siemian at quarterback. We laughed at the Jets and how bad they were, but yet they still won 7 games without Aaron Rodgers or any good quarterback for that matter. And now you bring in Aaron Rodgers, who's a former MVP. I don't care what you think about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers off a torn Achilles is 10 times better than whatever Tim Boyle, Zach Wilson, and Trevor Siemian are combined. And then they have the playmakers with Garrett Wilson, who I believe will be a top 10 receiver after this season. And then they added Mike Williams. They also have Breece Hall. But the number one reason why I love this Jets team is their offensive line. They went and added John Simpson and Morgan Moses and Tyron Smith to this offensive line for a complete revamp. And they had a horrific offensive line and bad quarterback play last year. And like I said, they still won 7 games. So now you add a very, very good offensive line for pass protection. You have have the weapons on the outside, you have a great running back, you have a way better quarterback, and you have a #1 defense in the NFL, there is no reason why this Jets team should not win 10 or more games. And on top of that, they also have the 3rd easiest schedule in the NFL. And you're telling me that with all this talent, better quarterback play, easier schedule, you don't think the Jets are going to have one of the highest win totals in the AFC? I could see the Jets ending up as a 2 or 3 seed in the AFC. Keep selling your stock on the Jets, but I'm going to buy more. I like when people are off a certain team. I like to buy more into that team. My 3rd bet is another AFC East team. I love the Buffalo Bills over 10.5 wins. And you're getting them at plus money at plus 134. I know that Vegas and the whole NFL community is off the Bills, and I'm not. To me, the Bills are going to be even better than they were last year. And people are going to say, oh, Stephon Diggs is gone. They don't have a premier receiver on the outside. Stephon Diggs was not a part of this Joe Brady offense. Joe Brady turned this offense into the best version ever since they drafted Josh Allen. They started running the football more efficiently. They started running more 12 personnel. Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox might be one of the best tight end duos in the NFL. And when they had 2 tight ends on the field, they were the most efficient offense in the NFL. The only reason they didn't run it more is because Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid went through some injury problems early in the season. But when they had them both on the field late in the season with this Joe Brady offense, they were so efficient. They put themselves in better situations for Josh Allen. Josh Allen did not play hero ball in the last 5 or 6 games when they won 5 straight. They were putting themselves in 3rd manageable, 2nd and manageable instead of 2nd and long and 3rd and long, which they had the most 2nd and 3rd and long in the NFL under Ken Dorsey, which made Josh Allen have to play hero ball, and that's why he had so many interceptions or punt, arm punts, whatever people want to call them. So now you have an efficient running game. I think their wide receiving unit is fine. I like Keon Coleman. Khalil Shakir had more yards than Stephon Diggs in the last 12 games of the season last year. And they add Curtis Samuel. You have Dalton Kincaid. You have Dawson Knox. You have a good offensive line. I'd argue that this offense is going to be extremely better than they were last year. And yes, I like the Jets over their win total, and I like the Jets to win the division. But I think it is a tight race between the Jets and the Bills. And with Josh Allen, he's the 2nd or 3rd best quarterback in the league. You can argue that whatever you want. But to me, when you have Josh Allen, you are always going to win probably 11 plus games. While everybody's off the Bills, I'm buying into the Bills. Give me the Bills over 10.5 wins. I think that one's an easy winner. This one you're going to hate. Just hear me out. I'm taking the Carolina Panthers over 5.5 wins at minus 124. They addressed all of their issues. Quietly, the Panthers had a top 10 defense last year, and they have a lot of dogs on that side of the football, and that's what kept them in a lot of games. The only problem that Carolina had was their offense, and they addressed every single issue that they had. They spent the most money in free agency on the offensive line. They went and added weapons on the outside with Xavier Legette, Deontay Johnson. They already had Adam Thielen. And I think with this offensive line being better, I think Chuba Hubbard and all the running backs that they have there are going to be more efficient this season. And also the addition of Dave Canales is going to help Bryce Young in every single way. They're going to be able to run the ball more efficiently, more play action, getting the ball out of his hands quickly. The wide receivers are going to be able to get more separation because there's more talent. And they also have a last place schedule. I looked over their schedule. I see 6 wins on there. I love Carolina over 5.5 wins. And then my final bet on the over-unders for the NFL. This one is my favorite bet of the NFL season. This one is going to be my biggest bet in the last 2 seasons. I love the Chicago Bears this year. I've said it on TikTok. I've said it on Twitter. I think that they have a legit chance to win the NFC North. Now you can go and bet that, but I want to play it a little bit more safe because that division is very good and unexpected. But I love the Chicago Bears over 8.5 wins at minus 160. I'm laying the juice. I do not care. The Chicago Bears kind of remind me of the New York Jets in the same scenario. They have really bad quarterback play from Justin Fields last season. He was the worst quarterback in the 4th quarter. He had the most interceptions, the worst passer rating, worst completion percentage, and the only reason why the Bears didn't get 10 wins is because of Justin Fields in the 4th quarter. If If Bears games would have ended in the third quarter, they would have had 10 wins last year. So with bad quarterback play, you enter Caleb Williams, who I know is a rookie, but he is one of the most generational quarterbacks we have ever seen come out of college football. And on top of that, he was the best quarterback in college football in the fourth quarter. He had 0 interceptions, the most touchdowns, best completion percentage. This kid is going to be special, but what I really like that the Bears did is surrounded him with weapons so he doesn't have to be Superman. You add in Keenan Allen, you add in Rome Odunze, you upgrade your offensive line, you upgrade your running back, you have Khalil Herbert and DeAndre Swift. So you won 7 games last year. They have a top 10 defense. I'm in love with their defense. They were top 5 in almost every advanced statistic in like the last 7 games last year. You get a better offensive line, better quarterback, better running back, better receivers, and you're telling me that you don't think the Chicago Bears can win over 8.5 games? To me, that's crazy. I think they should be more in the 9.5 range, but Vegas is begging you to take this under at plus money. They want you to say, oh, it's a rookie quarterback. Oh, it's just the Bears. While everybody is selling stock on the Bears and saying they're overrated, I'm buying more. And on top of that, they have the second easiest schedule in the NFL. I love the Bears this season. Give me the over 8.5. I like them to make the playoffs. I like them to win the division if you want to bet that as well. But I'm putting all of my money into over 8.5. I think that's the safest play. I think that's the most secure play. And I think you should tail it too. This one, I'm almost as confident in this one as I am the Chicago Bears bet. The Los Angeles Rams to make the playoffs is minus 106. And I feel like I'm getting free money here. Now, I understand that the LA Rams squeaked into the playoffs, but to me, they were one of the hottest teams in football in like the last 8 weeks. When they started getting Puka way more involved, and then they added Cooper Kupp, he was injured a little bit. Now he's coming into this season fully healthy. I expect a bounce back season from him. The offensive line is a top 10 unit in the league, and their running game was super efficient last year. You have Kyron Williams, and then you add Blake Corum. I see this as a dynamic duo and one of the best offenses in the NFL. And to me, Matthew Stafford is still a top 5 quarterback. If you went and watched his film from last year, he was one of the most fun quarterbacks to watch. He can still throw any pass all over the football field. I'd take him over a lot of guys in the NFL. And then on the defensive side of the football, they were so great last year. I understand that Aaron Donald was there, but they have a lot of great young guys on that defensive line. Even when Aaron Donald was not on the field, they were still getting constant pressure to the quarterback. And then they addressed the edge rusher position in the draft. And they have good corners and good safeties. I think this team overall is probably one of the best teams in the NFC. The only problem is that they're in a really tough division. But I see them better than Arizona. I see them better than Seattle. I see them as close with San Francisco. It depends what San Francisco does with Brandon Ayuk. But to have them at minus 106 to make the playoffs when they made it the year before, they're coming in more healthy, a lot of youth, a top 5 quarterback who's now fully healthy and motivated. I do not see a reason why the Rams cannot make a wild card spot. I think they'll be racing with the 49ers to win this division with a top 5 offense. So give me the Rams at minus 106 to make the playoffs. And I have one final bet that is a special bet. And you don't have to take this. This is an MVP bet. This is all off a gut. But to me, I think the MVP of the NFL season in 2024 is going to be Josh Allen. He has the second worst odds. He's at plus 800. So obviously Vegas thinks there's a shot for Josh Allen to win the MVP. And I'm telling you, with this Joe Brady offense, like I said before about this Bills offense, they were way more efficient and Josh Allen's turnovers came down. I want you to imagine that Josh Allen's touchdowns come down maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9 touchdowns, right? What's that put him in, like the 30-something range? And then his interceptions come down by half. He is a way better quarterback statistically. And then people will start saying, wow, Josh Allen, he has all these touchdowns. He has rushing touchdowns. He has less interceptions. He fixed the turnover problem. They're running the ball efficiently. It is going to put Josh Allen in such better positions to not be a superhero. I'm telling you that Josh is going to have his best season as a Buffalo Bill yet. I see the Bills as a Super Bowl contender. I don't see him winning the division, but if Josh Allen keeps up the touchdown pace and brings down the turnovers, he had a chance to win the MVP last year. I know that Lamar went on a tear, but just imagine if he had half the interceptions, he probably would have won the MVP last year. So give me Josh Allen at plus 800 to win the MVP award. Thank you guys for watching the video. I appreciate you. We're going to do these videos every single week throughout the NFL. If you want my NFL bets first, you have to be subscribed. And then also follow me on TikTok, follow me on Twitter. I post my bets on there after I post them on YouTube if you want a simpler way to get them. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your week. I cannot wait for week 1. We are a week away.